Okay, so for today, I do have this beautiful piece that was created by coloring book artist Jade Summer, and this is from one of her recent books that she has published, adult coloring books. And yes, like I said, it's called Hidden Garden by Jade Summer, and you can get your copy and on Amazon. So I will have some links later on, so within the info portion of this video, so you guys can have that to know where to go and get her books. I start with something simple today, and just kind of show you how I go along with my day-to-day coloring. So we're just gonna color and chat, and I will be using my Prismacolor Premier color pencils here. And let's see, and I do have two different sharpeners that I'm going to be working with. Just depends on what happens while I sharpen, because sometimes Prismacolors, they tend to, their lead inside tends to break, and so you kind of have to be comfortable, gotta be gentle when sharpening your Prismacolor pencils. And so this one sharpener that I do have is by Faber-Castell. You can't really tell because of the lighting, and it's just a regular, I want to say, I think it's metal, and it's got two holes in here, and one's for color and one's for normal. Okay, and I'll use either or, just depending, like I said, on how sharp I want my pencil to be. And then I also have my T-Gal sharpener. This thing has been well used. I've had it for a little over a year now, and the numbers have worn off. It used to have numbers that you can choose your, how sharp or you want your lead, but it's not really visible at this time. I can barely even see it looking at it, through my eyes without the camera. But you can tune this, turn this little knob here, and you can go, sharpen it just a little bit, or get that, I think it's goes up to 5, and you can sharpen it up to that really long, sharp point. And so yeah, so that's just the two sharpeners I'll be using. I guess this chartreuse green could use some sharpening. So that one says it's on close right now, so I'm just trying to get a nice sharpen. Usually for the T-Gals, I usually put it on number 3 setting, and I've watched a few videos on best ways to sharpen your colored pencils, and the best way that I have found out is to put your colored pencil in your non-dominant hand. So in my case, it's my left hand, since I'm right-handed, and then just use your sharpener and use your non-dominant hand, with the sharpener to sharpen the pencil, and that helps lessen the risk of breakage. So there's that, and I guess we'll go ahead and get started with some leaves here. Let me go ahead and get a little closer to our picture here. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit to this round area in here, and we're just going to go ahead and color and pick randomly. I don't normally go and choose a color palette for whenever I'm coloring. I just kind of wing it. I have tried going by a color palette before, and I always tend to rebel off of it, and I end up going with different colors than what I originally planned. But today we're going to try to stick with some green leaves. I think I'll start out with some leaves here, and we'll just go ahead and color color this image in, and you guys can just, you know, relax and watch and all that good stuff. I haven't quite figured out if I'm going to do a background after I am done here. So we'll go ahead and start off with some of these little leaves over here, and just to kind of show you how I go about just day-to-day coloring. And right now I am using the Prismacolor PC 911, and I believe it's an olive green. Yes, it is. So it's an olive green. Hope you guys can see that there. PC 911. Make sure I can punch it up there right. There you go. And as you can tell, this pencil has been used quite a bit. Obviously I color a lot of green stuff, so it's been well used. So here I go. I'm just coloring in, getting a little bit of this olive green right down here at the bottom. And let's see, and then we'll just make it give it a little bit of more texture and add another color in here. And for this one, I'm going to add in the PC 1005, which is a line peel in the Prismacolor Premier. So I'm going to go ahead and overlay that on, a little bit right off the edge of where I stopped off coloring with the olive green earlier. And that just gives it a little bit of different texture, so it's not just one blah color. So I guess we can do this for these guys here, olive green, like I said, here on the bottom. I'm just using little circular strokes here. And I have learned through my last, 2 years that I've been coloring, that it's best to use circular strokes when coloring with colored pencils, because one, it helps get the color the color pigment off the pencil lid into the paper a little bit better, and it also reduces the directional lines that you make. Like if you were just going to color up and down, and you can see the strokes that you made. So yeah, so that's one, a couple of reasons why I choose to do that. And I also have to remind myself that I need to, not have so much of a death grip on my pencils. When I first started coloring, I was just gripping the pencil and didn't realize how hard I was gripping it. I mean, I was like holding it like this, and and I was holding it so much and so tight that I noticed that some of my pencils started to get a little bend. You can just see that it's not even straight, and it started having a bend. So of course I looked it up, being the research person that I am, and I have learned that it is best to hold your pencil a little bit farther away, from the tip of it, and just try to hold it as far away as you can, and just go in coloring using, just light strokes, light circular strokes, and not to use so much pressure when coloring in. Otherwise, you're going to ruin the tooth of your paper. So I try to remember that when I'm coloring, and I will catch myself still reverting back to my old death grip pencil holding, and then I just kind of have to go back and reset myself and try to hold the pencil and what I guess you would call the correct way. I'm not sure if that's such a correct way or a bad way. I guess you can go with whatever you're comfortable with. Just remember, you don't have to press so hard, especially when you're trying to layer colors. Using a lighter hand with layering, you can get more colors layered in there. versus if you were to go ahead and just straight out just use that hard pressure, ruin the tooth of your paper, and then you can't lay down any more color because the tooth of the paper has been ruined, so it won't take in or take on, should I say, any more color from the colored pencil. And let's see what else we can chat about. So this, like I said, this piece is by coloring book artist Jade Summer. She has quite a few books out there right now on Amazon. And this one is from her book Hidden Garden. And I believe she has some other books out there. I know she has like Chibi Girls, something like that, and then some mermaid book, Angels, Red Riding Hood. She has quite a few. And then if you check later on, whenever, check my comments, or check more info on this video. I will have links there on how to go about finding Jade Summer's coloring books. So that's pretty much all I'm doing right now, is just filling in these leaves. We might switch over in a little bit here and see what else we want to color with, or what part of this picture we want to color. So I'm just starting to add a little bit of life to the leaves here. And as you all know, I am still pretty new to the YouTube video making, everything. So just bear with me. I'm not a professional whatsoever. I just thought that, I do so much coloring, and I also do a lot of watching videos of other colorists, and that's how I pick up cool techniques and new ways to colors and inspiration and all that. So I just wanted to kind of sort of contribute to all that good stuff. I started coloring about, I would say, 2 years ago, and I am really glad that I actually did start and pick up coloring. To me, it's my own little personal therapy. Whenever I'm stressed out, whenever I am anxious, or whenever I'm in too much, in pain. I am a chronic pain person, and this is just my way of just escaping from, everything else, a way to distract my mind, my brain, and my body from what I'm feeling. And I come up with, I can come up with some pretty little colored pictures, and it's actually just, very rewarding to be able to add life to the work of these, amazing artists that come up with these images for us. And all we have to do is make it our own and add some color. So that's pretty much, how I see about it. And I would actually have to say that to whoever's, watching this video, that if it wasn't for awesome friends out there, ex-co-workers, Facebook friends, I wouldn't even be able to continue really coloring and have this outlet for me. I recently had to accept that I am disabled. I am 41 years old and had to give up my nursing career. And that's, after 20 years of being in the medical field, I was a nurse. That pretty much became my identity, and I was always so busy go, 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 run, run, run. And, you know, I've had some, you know, health issues, and it's mainly my back, but, you know, I just kind of just fought through it and just wanted to keep going, work as much as I can, and as, you know, as long as I can. I wanted to be there. I was one that wouldn't say no when it came up to picking up extra shifts or if someone called in. But anywho, you know, after years of just pushing my body and just go, 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 I guess my body just kind of just gave up and told me no more. I ended up with having 5 spinal fusions so far since 2000 and I would say 2010. I've had 2 cervical fusions, and I've also had 3 lumbar lower back fusions as well. And kind of, you know, all that just really got to me. It was really traumatic on my body, and I thought that, oh, after all these surgeries, you know, I can go back to work, and it turned out not to be the case. So you know, it's been, last time that I worked was in October of 2014, and that was the start of my last 3 spine surgeries. I had a neck, I had my second neck fusion in October of 2014, and then I had my lumbar fusion, and that was also my second one in November of 2014. And then I ended up unexpectedly needing my 5th and my 3rd lumbar fusion in March of 2015. See, what happened was, for some odd reason, I developed cysts on my spinal cord. And man, oh man, I'm telling you, that cyst hurt. I mean, it took me a while, and going to doctors and trying to get them to see that, yes, it does hurt. And it was affecting me. It got to the point where, you know, within the first time that they found it back in 2011, within like a month or 2 of the pain starting, like sciatic pain, leg pain, butt pain, that I couldn't even walk anymore. One day I tried to, you know, stand up, and I knew I was hurting, and being the stubborn person that I am, I kept trying to just go with it, and I couldn't. I literally had to sit on the floor in tears, and I could not bear any more weight on that leg. And so that's when I had my first surgery. It was back in 2012 for that cyst. And it kept, you know, and the reason for my, you know, other lumbar fusions, the 2nd and 3rd one, was because that same cyst kept coming back. It would, you know, it would just grow again. And each time that it came back, it engulfed around my spinal cord. It ate, you know, it ate through, you know, my bones, and it really damaged the nerves in my spine, and so I have now permanent nerve damage. So, you know, I am slowly trying to accept the fact that I am no longer, I have limits on my mobility and what I can and can't do anymore. At such a young age, at 41. But like I was saying, you know, here I go, I'm just babbling, so you guys can always mute me if you want to as you watch me coloring. And like I said, if it wasn't for my friends and ex-co-workers that found it in the goodness of their heart to generously, send me coloring supplies, and I mean, I don't even know what I would have done. It's because, like I said, this is what I found was my best therapy for pretty much all of what's going on, and a way to escape this, just to escape every now and again. And I found myself just like everybody else who's gotten into adult coloring books, into coloring, that they become addicted. And I would have to say, yes, I have. I color every day as much as I can, whenever I can. And when I go to my doctor's appointments, we always got that waiting period. So I sit and color. And like I said, the majority of my supplies all came from good friends. And they have, like I said, if it wasn't for them, I would not have been able to continue coloring. So, if, those people that have helped me, and if they got the chance to watch this video, y'all know who you all are out there. Big thank you, much love, and I don't know what else to say except for big thank you. I love you guys. And yeah, so as you can see, I've just been kind of just going about with these leaves here. And then I was thinking, after I was done with this leaf here, as I said, small circular strokes, just filling in the bottom part of that with that Prismacolor Premier olive green, PC911. I think we'll move in, we'll pick some colors that we will use and color these flowers in. So this video is just basically just kind of, just showing you how I go about my day-to-day coloring. I guess a little bit of a get to know you kind of video, and one of these days too, hey, you might be able to see me in an actual video once I get the nerve to actually, get set up a little bit more and have a better background for y'all to look at. Okay, so I've seen I've gotten those leaves right there colored in. Now I want to try to choose some colors and see what we could do here. Usually what I would go and do if this wasn't, a video that I'm making for y'all, I would be going ahead and coloring every single leaf in and getting that out of the way. And then I would go back and figure out flowers. But since, I'm making this video for you guys, I figured let's go ahead and try to get you to see how I would go and do the rest of my coloring here. So right now I'm trying to determine what other colors I want to use for those flowers in there. And just so y'all all know now, my favorite colors and colors that I tend to run to are anywhere with the pinks, the blues, the purples, lavenders, lilacs. I mean, any of those colors I am naturally just kind of drawn to, and I end up using those colors a lot in my adult coloring. And I am trying to decide right now of what colors I'm going to use for these guys right here. I've got mulberry. Oops, if I don't drop on my pencils first. So I've got mulberry right there. That's PC995. And let's see, this is processed red, PC994. Hopefully you guys can see that. And then I've also got this PC956, and it's a lilac color. So let's take a looky-see. I want to grab a piece of just some extra paper that I have here, and I want to see this. Sometimes I do this, just to see if, some colors that I'm not quite sure yet of how I want to go about doing something. And it's just to test my colors. So this is the lilac, the PC956. And I'll put that to the side there. And here is that mulberry color, PC995. And I'm trying to see how I would want to continue on with these flowers and see if they would work together. One thing I do love about Prismacolors, the Premier pencils, is that they go on like butter. They're smooth. The color pigment is awesome. And I mean, I do have arthritis in my hands, and their pigment in the lead, is I would have to say soft core is really makes it easier, should I say, to use colored pencils when coloring. So, and it makes it easier on my hands, especially when I'm having some kind of flare-up. So let's see. I'm kind of thinking, I know I want to use this lilac. I was thinking maybe we would do a little bit of lilac in the bottom of the flower there, and then maybe process red to continue upwards. I mean, that might look good. How about we try it? So I'm going to start with this one right here, and what I'm going to do is fill in the bottom parts here with this lilac, PC 956, and just kind of this very, just light pressure, adding in that color to the bottom of these flowers, filling that all in. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing here. And get that in there, get them colored down in there, and then I will fill in the rest with that processed red, and we'll see how that turns out. Okay, almost to the last one. It's small circular strokes, just to fill in some color. You see a little bit of white here. Okay, and now I'm going to go in with my processed red, the PC994. Let's see if I can get that to you guys so you guys can see it. Okay, and then I'm just going to go over the top, just kind of overlaying a little bit from the end of where I colored, using that lilac, and then just going over it a little bit, still using soft, just light circular strokes, and just blending it in with that lilac that I first laid down on the bottom of this flower here. Okay, so I'm just going along, kind of just winging it right now. That's usually how I go about coloring in here. Some people say that choosing a color palette helps them be a little bit more organized, and they know what colors they want to use, and they can just pick up and go, and that works well for for those that choose to do that. And some people just, that's their preferred way. And for me, I just tend to be random, and I have tried to go with a color palette, and then I always end up deviating. from that, kind of like rebelling. It's like, no, don't tell me what I can and can't do. And then I'll just go off and use, you know, I'll start off with the color palette and then choose, and then, you know, whichever color palette that I chose, and then I just say, forget this, I want something different. So that's that. You can see that I've colored that in. And sometimes I also use, like, you know, Prismacolor folks out there, that lovely white, that PC938 Prismacolor. Sometimes I use that to help blend in or to lighten colors that I have colored in, or sometimes I will also use PC914, which is cream. It just depends on the effect that I want. So I'm sharpening up my PC914 here off camera so I can show you, and then I'm gonna just lightly, you know, well, kind of medium pressure, I guess you could say, and go over both the lilac and the process red that I used to color, you know, this flower here, and just blending in the colors together. And that's the one thing that's so great about Prismacolor Premiers, is that they blend wonderfully. And I am using, I believe this is the 72 set that I have here, that a friend of mine has sent to me. I believe it was sometime last year, and I really baby my pencils since, I mean, anything that has anything to do with color, I will hoard. and keep, and I try to be very careful, and I try not to, you know, I'll go and use my other pencils too. I do have Crazy Arts and some Crayola and some Marco Raffines, and I'll use those too, just so that I don't go as fast and use up my Prismacolors, just because I don't want to use them up too fast. But I do have to say, I have colored a lot of pictures, and this set has lasted me, I would have to say, over a year now. So I am pretty happy with it. Okay, now I want to see what color do we want to go and do this middle area right there. I mean, we can always go back in and let's say we can do a yellow if you want, you know, if we wanted to, or we can stay with the same color family. And how about this mulberry? This PC995 mulberry. And just kind of fill that in just to get that middle part right here. A little bit of color. There you go. So I think that turned out okay. And so let's go ahead and continue on and go back and do the same thing with these two other flowers here. So we'll go with the lilac again. Just gently laying the bottom color down there. And then we'll hit it up afterwards with that process red. Now, also to tell you that I have no professional training whatsoever. I am just somebody who has found coloring as a hobby, and like like I've mentioned, it's my own personal therapy. So it's just I just wing it. and I've learned a lot just by watching other colorists out there on how they go about coloring, and that's how I pick up tips and techniques. And every now and again I find something else out, something new or new to me on my own, just by playing around and practicing. So here I am, like I said, just laying this lilac color down. Circular, small circular, just kind of just filling it in. I'm not trying to rush or anything like that. Like I said, coloring for me is a therapy. It's just something that helps calm my nerves down. I try to get myself really immersed in my coloring, and that way it helps distract my brain when I have flare-ups and when I'm feeling pain. I pretty much have pain 24/7. So, and you'll probably, hear me talk about, my illness a lot. It's because, hey, you know what? Why not? This is how, I would like people to get to know me, and pretty much it is who I am. So there are days when I'll color and, make a video and I may not be talking. And that's because most likely feeling under the weather, having a flare-up, and just not feeling up to it. So you'll see me with videos like that every once in a while. So, or more often, it just depends. I also do suffer from fibromyalgia, lupus, and PTSD, anxiety, and depression, and a whole lot of other ailments that I did not plan to, plan in my life to have. I mean, it just kind of happened, and then you just got to deal with it and adjust as much as you can. And for me, it is still a lot to adjust to, because I was always the one to be busy, 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 go, 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 non-stop, always wanting to be working, keeping myself occupied, and learning all the time. Okay, so now let's go ahead and, like I said, filling in the rest of all these flowers, just using that lilac for the bottom part of the flower, and then going over it again lightly with the processed red, and then I will go and blend it in using that cream color. Just trying to finish this up here, not rushing, taking my time. Okay, so I think I liked how that turned out. And this is just what colors that I choose. So if you guys have this same page and actually have the physical book, you guys are more than welcome to choose your own colors. Pick your own color palette. This is just what I do and what I've chose, colors I've chosen just off the top of my head. So there's that. Okay, so now that I've filled in the colors, and before I go in the middle, I'm going to go and switch over to my 914 Prismacolor Cream and just go over the tops of this that I colored in, and just blend the colors, make it a little bit more smooth, get rid of that white on the paper that we all do not like as colorists. We want to see our papers filled in with color, and unless it's the look that you're going for, we usually don't like to leave white specks behind. So, and I'm doing this still very gently and still not trying to ruin the tooth of my paper. And then we got to plan out, see which other parts here we want to color in. And what colors we want to use. And oh, by the way, since I am new to this whole YouTube making business, video making, please feel free to leave me any comments or suggestions on what I can do to improve, or if there's anything that you want to see or want to suggest for me to color with you guys next. Give me ideas. I'm pretty much open to everything, and I think it will be a lot of fun to do that. So yeah, help me make my channel grow, subscribe, and so you guys can see and follow along as I make new videos. And I hope we get to learn more from one another. Okay, so I've got those 3 flowers filled in with my color. Now I'm going to go back in with my mulberry here, the PC995, and I'm going to go ahead and just outline the inside of this flower just to give it some color and not to leave it so blah. Just to make sure we get that color in there. And I'm leaving some part of that white just as a personal preference. No significant reason, just because. And so that's that. So that's that for those flowers. I think I want to go and fill this part of the leaves in with that same PC911 olive green, just so that this part right here can be completed. And just go to the bottom of that. And then bringing back in my lime peel, the PC1005. Lime peel, I don't know if you guys can see it. Okay, there. Kind of hard for lighting. There you go. And just going back over the top and blending those colors in together. Sometimes I don't have to use anything to blend with. Sometimes the colors itself kind of blend in nicely with each other, and sometimes I will use the white or the cream or even the Prismacolor blending pencil. It just depends on what I'm doing. Okay, so I've gotten that little part colored in, and let's see, what do we want to go into next? What colors do we want to use? Do we want to do any leaves? Do we want to do a flower? How about we go and try? How about we try to fill in this guy right here? We got, looks like she's got 2 of these flowers. And let's see, what colors can we choose? I am kind of leaning towards some type of blue. So I'm just kind of just testing out some colors here, and this of course is the Prismacolor and Prismacolor Premier True Blue PC903. Let me get that so you guys can see that's what I'm using, and that's that color right there. And what other color do I have here? I have the ultramarine, the PC902, so that would be like a darker kind of blue in here. And let's take a look. Like I said, right now I'm just kind of leaning towards some blue colors. And then, well, this is some, what is this? This is a light aqua. Not sure if that's going to go in. Well, I guess you would consider that, I guess, in the green family. Maybe. It all just depends, I guess. It depends on what you see. I see a bluish green in there, so I do like that. And so those are the three blues, or maybe the light aqua would be a green. So don't take, you know, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm gonna try to see what else do I have here. I have this cobalt blue hue, which is the PC 133. And let's take a look to see how nice that comes out. Ooh, I do like that cobalt hue. And like I said, I'm trying to see what good gradient colors I would be to use. Something dark and then something kind of light that I'd like to play with. So how about we go and try out these two colors. The light aqua, let's see, but the light aqua, PC992, and the cobalt blue hue, which is the PC133. Hopefully you guys can see that. I have a hard time, because of the lighting and all that good stuff, okay? So I'm just going to give my pencils a quick run over with the sharpening here, just so that I have that pointy lead. I do like to have my pencils sharp. I can get the color in there better, get into tight spaces and whatnot. Okay, so let's see now, how are we going to do this? Are we going to want to do it coming out light, or do we want to, start with light and go out dark, or come in dark and then go out light? I guess we'll just have to play and go with it. So I'm doing this one. Let's see if I can actually get my camera to point down and get a little closer and focus in on that area so you guys can see it better. I'm going to focus that a little bit better there. How about that? Is that a little better? I hope hopefully my hands won't cover it up too much. So I'm going to just go ahead and just fill in some colors here. Here I go with this light circular strokes and just filling in the color. Light hand again. And just going around. I did not fill the top of that. I'm thinking of giving it just a little bit of different texture there. And just seeing if I can keep it that way and see what kind of effect I will get. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. Circular strokes. Kind of fill in all that white in there. Light layering. I think, in my opinion anyway, that layering your colors versus just going over it once with a very, very hard, hard hand, hard pressure. Layering the colors actually, I feel, makes the colors come out better. It makes the picture look better, and you can actually tell that the person took their time and actually showed some love to that paper and to that image. So yeah, so I don't know, still trying to think, just going over this blue right here, this area here, this middle flower. Filling in that color. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not quite sure if I want to go ahead and blend some of that color out and give it like a gradient effect, or if I want to do it, fill it in all the way. And this is what I mean by I say I just swing it. I don't have a certain plan when I'm coloring. And sometimes they come out good, sometimes they come out wacky. But guess what? I still don't give up. I will finish that piece. I'm a little bit OCD that way. I will finish it up even if I thought that I'd messed up. I will try to find a way to make it work, I guess, and to make it my own. So I have gotten that, and what I was thinking, maybe just going over it on top here with some of that light aqua, and just kind of blending it together and seeing how that looks. There. I think that looks okay. What do y'all think? So just going over, starting, in the mid area where I stopped off with that cobalt blue hue, and just filling in the rest of the color and blending it together, kind of like that dark to light gradient. And I love playing with different colors and different mediums, and seeing what other colors I can come up with and how cool they look together. So my friends and family already pretty much know that this is where I occupy and what occupies my time, and they always see me with stained hands or something because I was playing with certain color, either with pastels or gel pens, markers, and I've even fallen asleep in bed with a marker in my hand at one time, and oh my goodness, it got all over my sheets and the shirt that I was wearing, and it was just funny. I kind of learned after that that no more coloring in bed, especially after I have taken my sleep medication. It's just that little funny, informational piece there. So there. So I've got that in, and I don't know if you guys can see exactly how it turned out. I'm going to try to move my clipboard here with that image. Let's see if I get it closer to you guys so you guys can see what I did there. See that? Okay. That's what we've gotten done so far. Not a lot of work versus all the talk that I just was doing. But I think it looks pretty good. So let's see. I'm going to go back ahead. Go back in and just keep going on with this flower here, and just finishing up these petals. I'm going in the bottom with that cobalt hue PC133, and just going around petal by petal, not rushing, continuing with those circular strokes. Filling in that color there. And then I'll just go ahead and do the same thing like I did and fill in the tops with that light aqua color. Okay, so I'm just going around. Now one medium, I should say, that I do want to eventually try, that I'm still been kind of standoffish on it, are acrylic paints. I do want to play with some of that. I do have some. Yeah, I've just been kind of scared because I want, trying to learn about it, and I know the best way to learn is to go jump into it, but I also want to do my research and watch a few more videos and tutorials myself so that I can get a feel of the proper way to use them, learn some techniques and all that good stuff. And I've seen pictures online of, you know, art that was done using acrylic paints, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, you know, how beautiful is that, and how I envy that. And I'm like, I want to do that too. So, but I guess I just gotta go in there and jump into it and actually start playing with it. I mean, I do have some brushes. I do have that acrylic paint, and I want to be able to use it up before they go bad, if they ever go bad. I don't know. Do acrylic paints go bad at all? I'm assuming like after a certain point of time, you know, they do have a life, you know, a shelf life. I'm assuming they might dry up. I don't know. Get hard, crusty up. I don't know. I don't know what they do. They get watered down. But yeah. Yeah, this is a long video for me. I just kind of wanted to take advantage of the quietness in the house right now, where there's not a lot of commotion, and use this time to color with you and chat with you a bit. I might have a little bit of a downtime here this week. My fiance and I are moving. We found a temporary apartment for us, or like, you know, a little house, a bungalow kind of thing, that we're going to move into together until the house that we want is ready. So we're just moving into a one-bedroom spot at the, you know, this weekend, and it's just nice because it will be, you know, nice and quiet, just our little space for now, and I can, you know, do a whole lot more YouTube making videos, and, you know, in an area that's going to be, you know, a lot more quiet and not a lot of commotion going on. So yeah. Okay, so I think that is turning out actually very pretty. So that's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to continue on finishing this flower here, just by alternating that cobalt blue and the light aqua. So cobalt blue, small circular strokes, you know, for the bottom, and then finish it up with the light aqua, blending it in the top and blending it over the cobalt blue. So that's what I am doing. Just in case you guys wanted to know that over and over and over again. I'm so excited to be able to move and have our own little space. It's just nice to have that. Even my fiance and I have been staying with his parents at his parents' house for what is it now? So it's February, February, and I think it was like October of last year that we moved in here with them, and we just kind of wanted to save up enough money and all that good stuff. We just recently moved back to Arkansas, and so we're just getting ourselves together. We moved from Las Vegas, Nevada, and now we're in Arkansas, and yeah. But it's gonna be nice too. And it's a smaller place that we're moving into, but you know, it's our own little space. and it's going to be quiet because my fiance works during the day, and then it's just usually just me, my little Chiweenie. I have a 10-year-old little Chiweenie named Bella, and then it's also 2 cats. My fiance has a cat that he has had prior to us meeting and getting and dating. His name is Martin. He's about 3 years old, I'm assuming. I think. Is he 3? I don't know. Actually, I think he's older than that. May or may not be. But yeah, my fiance got him just prior to us, meeting and getting together. But no, so I'm thinking he's older than that. Duh, because I'm not thinking about math in my head right now. Because my fiance and I, as of February 13th, this coming up, would have been together for 5 years now. So yay! Look at that, we made it that far. Okay, so I'm just now, like I said, I'm just going to continue to fill in the rest of this flower with this cobalt blue in the bottoms with that soft circular motion, and then I will go and use that light aqua and sharpen my pencil here because I notice that it's getting a little dull there. So I'm filling in that color, like I said, and then going in and blending in the light aqua, overlaying it on top of it, blending it together, and give it that nice little finish there. And then we can think about what we're going to do next. I'm still trying to decide what kind of, if I want to do color a background, around these white spaces in there, and what color I want to use. Still trying to think. So I'll be thinking as I'm doing all this color filling in. I do have to say, I do like this Hidden Garden book by Jade Summer. The images are very, very pretty. And I guess, it's one of those things because I'm also drawn to, nature and flowers and any kind of scenery like that. A lot of fantasy too. So, and when I'm coloring, how do I go about figuring out what I'm going to color? Sometimes it's just winging it. I guess it's mostly winging it, but depending on what my mood is, I do like I said, doing stuff like this, like garden type sceneries and stuff like this, because I like to see what kind of combinations I can come up with on coloring like leaves and flowers and whatnot. Sometimes I stick with what's supposed to be normal colors, like, green for leaves and green for trees and brown for the bark of trees, stuff like that. And then I realized, you know what? I don't have to stick to the norm. I can do whatever I want to do with them and make it whatever color I feel like I want it to be. So I think I've done a few of those. And now I'm going to go ahead and fill in the rest with the light aqua like I did previously with the resting here. And just finish up that flower, just blending in this color on top of it. Just going over with that. This is just a nice pretty little piece that I figured, you know, it would be a little bit relaxing to do. I mean, it does have lots of detail, but at the same time, it's simpler than some of the other images that I have available. And I do those more challenging pictures, you know, whenever I feel like I'm in the mood for it. And I do it because it's a challenge. You know, a lot of people are scared, you know, when they're coloring. I was like, oh my gosh, they're, you know, so beautiful, or the work is, you know, it's got so much intricate detail to it. And yeah, they do, and I love that. And yes, I do get scared and intimidated a lot when it comes to those, you know, type of images. And sometimes it takes me a little bit to get the courage to go ahead and color them in. And sometimes it's all you gotta do. You just gotta jump into it. You won't know until you've actually done it yourself and tried it. So as you can see, I'm just filling in the rest of this, just soft, you know, layering, circular strokes around your motions, filling it in, kind of blending all those two colors together. And like I said, you can do whatever colors you want if you don't want to use the colors that I've chosen. This is just something that, hey, I winged today and kind of just picked out and said, okay, I'm going to go with that. And I still have no clue what colors I'm going to use for the rest of the leaves and the flowers on this image. I think this butterfly is pretty. Everybody's work is pretty. Now, one thing I want to learn more and practice on are markers too. Oh my gosh, I have seen so many colorists out there that use markers and the magic that they can do. And oh my gosh, that's something that I need to practice on too and learn techniques, because I don't know why, when I use markers, my work tends to look like, you know, a child colored it. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, you know, I can be a kind of a perfectionist, I guess you could say. It just depends on my mood. But and I have colored using markers, and sometimes it's just, you know, I use the markers because, you know, my hands have been hurting, but I want to color. It's like no matter what state my body or my mind is in, I will make time and the effort to color. And even if it's just something easy, like an easy image, you know, something fun, and you know, something I'm not too worried about if I mess up. Just you know, it's just something so I can color. I will go and use, you know, markers or gel pens. I mean, it just depends. Like I said, it doesn't matter. If I'm hurting, I will go and pick up my coloring supplies, and I will color. So I'm almost done with this image here. And if you guys hear my dog bark every now and again, she does that. She's, you know, all bark, no bite. And she is getting old, and we are in my bedroom, and she is lying on my bed. So every now and again, she tends to just bark at random things that she hears. So what I think I'm doing right now is I'm going to use this cream, I think. And I'm going to go see about blending all those colors together, just to give it more of a smoother finish and to take away some of that white specks from the paper. And I am using that Prismacolor PC914 in cream. And I'm just going over all that I just colored, just going inside and just using the cream to just blend all the colors together. Just to give it a nice, like I said, gradient effect. Make this look all nice and smooth. And yeah. I'm just babbling and talking to myself. So I don't know what else you guys would like for me to talk about. Maybe you guys can watch this video, leave me some comments. Let's figure out what else do you want to know about me. If you want to know anything about me, is there anything that you want to go and try to color next? You have any ideas of what you want to do? What books are your favorite books? For me, it's pretty much anything that I can put color into. And like I was saying earlier, if it wasn't for friends and family that have sent me, coloring supplies and books and stuff like that, I wouldn't even have any of this, and none of this would be possible. And I probably would have torn my hair out by now from a lot of stress and pain and anxiety that I go through and deal with on a day-to-day basis. I keep fighting. Okay. So this, like I said, it's just kind of just watching me on my day-to-day coloring. I just decided to choose Jade Summer's images today. I just thought, well, I wanted to do something with a garden type, with flowers and leaves, and that's just kind of what I felt like today. Who knows, who knows what I might do tomorrow. I might decide to go and switch a total different genre and go with a Bennett Klein book. You guys have to know who Bennett Klein is. If you guys don't, oh my goodness, we cannot be friends. But yeah, he does awesome work too. Kind of out there, very different from your flowers and petals and cutesy stuff. But he has like this grayscale-ish type of, I don't know what you really want to call it. I don't know how, it's got characters and some gory details and some odd looking images that he has drawn himself. He is just one of my favorite coloring book artists. He does amazing work. And so maybe one of these days we'll sit down together and go through and color a Bennett Klein image. This is another type of book that does intimidate me. The first image that I ever did of his, I was very, very scared. And I was just so afraid of, not doing his line art any justice. But I did it, and I was able to do it. And actually, I enjoyed the challenge and enjoyed coloring in that book immensely. And so his books are the ones that I don't color in. I actually will scan it through my printer. I have an HP 3600 series. I think it's a 3638, and I will scan my Bennett's books in there, and I will print it off. So in that way, one, I can preserve my book, and also two, if I make a mistake, I can always start over if I wanted to, or unless I decided I was going to make it work regardless. I know I mentioned it earlier, but I just don't give up. I will keep going and try to make it work. That's pretty much my way of getting through life. I'm thankful of what I do have and what I don't have, and there's a reason why, maybe, that I don't have a certain something, and the way I think it, if it's meant to be, it will happen, and everything will find its way within time and reason. Okay, so that part is done. We've gotten that colored in, and I'm going to try to get it closer to the camera so you guys can see what it looks like up close. And I think that actually looks pretty cool. What do y'all think? I'm trying to figure out maybe some yellow for this part right in there. Maybe just to get it. And let's see. There's supposed to be some canary yellow I'm going to use in there. It's PC916. And this lovely pencil, its life is being shortened down to. It has been well loved as well. And that is just so that I can added that yellow in there just to give it some extra color. Now I want to go and color in these leaves. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee off camera here, and hopefully I don't spill it on myself. I tend to do a lot of that. Okay, I just felt like my mouth getting a little bit dry there. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and color in these big leaves right here that accompanies this pretty flower here. And let's see, I think I will start out with, I think I'll use my base layer. I'll use this chartreuse, and that is a PC989. There you go. Let's try to see if I can get it so you guys can see the number. But yeah, it is chartreuse. PC989, and I'm just going to use this as a base color for the leaves, just to give it that extra depth and color. And that's something else that I have learned, a technique that I picked up just by watching various coloring colorists, is in order to give your coloring some depth of color, is to pick a base layer. And usually, to me, it may mean something different to other folks out there, but to me that just, it means to pick a color, like one of your lightest colors from what you've chosen to color, your image with. So I know I'm going to make this, for example, I'm going to make this, this leaf is going to be green, of course, and I'm just choosing the lightest part of my green color green that I'm going to use here, and just laying down some soft layer of that lightest color down as my base color. So that's what I use for that. And now let's see, do we want to go back with the olive green that we used earlier, or do we want to pick a different green? Let's see. It all depends on how they show up. So we'll see what we want to pick. But this is a kelp green, PC 1090, and I just want to see. Well, that looks pretty. I do like that. I might use that as a darker color. And it sounds like my dog is about getting ready to bark here. So, like I said, if you hear her, I think we just heard some neighbors pull up next door. No, this is a pale sage, PC 1089. I just want to see how that's going to blend in with that, if I wanted to use that or not. Not quite sure yet. Okay, so I know that was lighter than the chartreuse I laid down with my base color, but that's okay. So let's see how I'm going to start this off. I think I will go in and just use that kelp green and lightly layer in some of that dark green down here in the bottom, just to give it a little bit, the leaf a little bit more dimension. And it's right now I'm just using light layers, just kind of filling in these areas here that you see me going, and I am not really going any particular design. I'm just winging it. What you'll see me do in most of my coloring is I just wing it. So just filling that in, just putting some extra color going on in there. Give it some extra dimension for that leaf. I'm just kind of coloring in here and there what I think or what I feel that I want a different color to show through. Maybe I'll do like on the top right here. Like I said, just trying to give this leaf some dimension, and it may turn out the way I want it. I may be happy with it, I may not. I mean, I never know. And that's all part of the learning process. Just something that I just do. And so let's see what I've gotten there so far. Okay, so I found that darkness in there. And I'm just going over it a little bit more with another light layer. So I do not want to push all the color in there with heavy pressure. Don't want to ruin the teeth of my paper. The teeth. Just kind of just wanting to blend in some colors in there. Just adding another light layer on that color. Okay, so now that I've got my darker layer in, let's see. If I wanted to use pale sage, I wonder if it's going to give it extra dimension. I think I might need to sharpen my pencil. It's a little blunt there. So I'm sharpening this. I'm using my T-Gal sharpener right now. So you can see the difference there. It's sharpened on the number 3 setting. And this is that pale sage 1089. Okay. And I'm just going to go and blend those colors together. So I use the chartreuse as the base, and then I use the kelp green as my dark color. And now I'm just using this pale sage and just going over that leaf with the colors that I just used and just blending them together. And I think it's turning out okay. It's like you never know what how things are going to turn out until you actually do it. And that's what I'm doing, showing to you guys, So, let's some pale sage, just going over it, blending it a little bit, just some light pressure just to be able to blend the bottom colors that are used in together, but not too heavy that if I choose to add in another color and blend in another color, that I won't be able to, because if you use too much pressure, you're running teeth and the paper won't take in any color. So that's what I've gotten so far. And I think I am going to go back over it with a little bit more of the kelp green and darken more in the areas here that I went over earlier, just to give it a little bit more, depth. So I'm just eyeballing everything, nothing in particular. Just wanted to give my leaf different dimensions. So hopefully I'm not blocking the camera too much with my hand here. So I'm just adding in a little bit more of that kelp green to those areas that I colored in earlier, just to give it a little bit more depth. And so there's that. And since I am using this is mixed, like a mixed media paper, I don't have the packaging of the paper anymore. I ended up having to throw that away after I brought it home, but it was just something that I picked up. Was it Amazon, or did I pick it up at Walmart? Actually, I think I picked it up on let me see. Actually, I got it all off of Amazon for like $9, and I believe it was the Canson brand, CANSON. And I like it. And since, like I said, I'm not using just regular printer paper, and I'm using that mixed media paper, it does have a lot. I find that it has a lot more. It's kind of smooth, but it's thicker. I think it's toothier than regular printer paper, but it's not as toothy as some like cardstock paper would be. So now I am just using the chartreuse PC989 here, and I'm just kind of going over everything else that I've done again, and just blending in the rest, getting rid of the white that is still kind of showing through on the paper, and just giving it a little bit more color. And if I used heavy pressure when I started all of this, I wouldn't have been able to do this right now, because I would have smushed all the tooth in the paper, and the paper would not be able to take in any more color. So that's why I'm always talking about light pressure, circular motions. You don't need a heavy hand in this. Oh, I don't know when you really need a heavy hand, unless you're really wanting to burnish and burnish your paper and you're done and you're absolutely sure that you're not going to add any more color to it. But so right now I'm just using that chartreuse and going over what's here of the sleeve, and I think that that leaf anyway is done. So I'm gonna bring that up closer to you, up to the camera, so you guys can see what it looks like. Cool. Okay, I think it looks pretty cool. I don't know, what do y'all think? Okay, so I am going to go ahead and color in the rest of these leaves, and then I'll come back in a little while and we'll go and pick other areas here that we're going to fill in with color. Okay, see you back in just a little bit.